All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest. And big news, Nate Johnson is coming back to Utah. Nate Johnson is once again going to be a Ute. Very exciting news. I'm excited to dive in and talk about it, guys. Before we do, smash that like button. That's going to help get the video out to more Utah fans. Also, comment down below. What do you guys think of Nate Johnson? What do you think of this situation? Make sure you watch the video, though, before you give your opinion, because I'm going to give you guys as much context as I possibly can. So make sure you watch that before you give the opinion. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. So if you're into that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell. It's a lot of content coming at you. This way, you get the news right as it breaks, right as I post the video. And on that note, we are a part of the 1012 network. 1012 Network, sponsored by Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle, vintage made fresh, great gear here. CharlieHustle.com. Use code 101215 for 15% off any non-sale items. Again, that's CharlieHustle.com. Use code 101215 for 15% off any non-sale items. And let's go ahead and dive in and check out Nate Johnson. Okay, guys, and with the news of Nate Johnson committing to Utah, I think the first question on everyone's mind that was following Utah during the Nate Johnson saga is, will he be playing quarterback? So there's an article on 24/7 Sports from Sammy Mora, and this is, I'm quoting from it here. The expectation is for Utah to use Johnson in whatever capacity he is needed most, whether that be as a quarterback or as a gadget player on the offense. If Johnson does play quarterback, he will be more than capable of doing so with the glimpses he showed while at Utah and Vandy. He could also be utilized as a pass catcher or maybe even a wildcat situation. But one thing is certain, new Utah offensive coordinator Jason Beck will do whatever he can to get an athlete of his ability on the field. Johnson himself said he is open, even said he is open to playing either QB or other positions on the offensive side of the ball. So that's great. That's great. You got to love to see that. So just quick kind of thoughts on that. One, I don't completely agree with what Sammy Morris said, where yes, he showed glimpses of promise, but Nate Johnson struggled at quarterback quite a bit at times. But I think what we're all really excited about is, one, as a quarterback, this is the offense for him, right? If he's going to play quarterback anywhere, this is the type of offense you want him playing in, right? A very run focused, an offense that knows how to take super athletic quarterbacks, get them in the open space, and let them use their athleticism to make plays. That's what this offense does. So that's a big point. But like I mentioned, Nate Johnson had struggled at quarterback at times with Utah. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But in this offense, I don't hate the idea of Nate Johnson playing quarterback. It feels like it's tailor made for him. But two, we also know that Nate Johnson, from that article, is open to playing wide receiver. He's open to being like a gadget running back wide receiver hybrid. Any way we can get the ball in his hands, let him use his ridiculous athleticism to make plays. Because if you guys aren't aware, Nate Johnson is a superstar athlete. He was a track star, and you watch his Utah highlights, you can see it. Super impressive player. I'm excited. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining, and he's a guy we should be very happy about to have on this team. Now, Nate Johnson's been gone for a little while, so we haven't been, keeping up with him. He's been doing his own thing. So now we're going to dive into the PFF grades. We're going to dive into the stats. We'll look back at his career at Utah. We'll look back at his past year at Vanderbilt, and we'll talk about it. And let's go ahead and dive in. Let's check that out. Okay, guys, and here we go. These are Nate Johnson's grades from last year. He played 26 snaps, 10 rushing plays, 10 or in 6 passing plays. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and narrow this in. And it seems like that's kind of what they were trying to do with him over there at Vanderbilt. Obviously, they found their guy in Diego Pavila, however you say it. And Nate's coming back over to Utah. And I'm excited to see what Nate can do in this offense that kind of feels tailor-made for him, right? And so take a look at here right out the gate, guys. Two rushing attempts for 69 yards, 34.5 yards per carry that game. But you look on the season, guys, Nate had 11 attempts rushing the ball at Vanderbilt for 114 yards, 10.4 yards a carry. Very, very impressive numbers there, right? That's ridiculous numbers. And Nate actually was a very good runner during his time at Utah as well. You look back here, guys, in 2023 on 54 attempts. This was his year where he really got a lot of opportunities to run the ball. 54 attempts. He went for 300 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. He did have 7 fumbles, which is pretty awful. But overall really good rushing numbers. And in a very limited sample size in 2022, he had 5 carries, 51 yards, 10.2 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. So in his career so far, and this is all at the P4, P5 level, Nate Johnson has 70 carries, 465 yards, 6.6 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns, 7 fumbles. Nate Johnson is a very athletic player and a very big time runner. And I think these grades back that up, guys. He did it at the SEC level. He did it at the Pac-12 level. He is a playmaker with the ball in his hands. Then we move over to his passing, right? We move over to his passing. And you look here, guys, look at this Vanderbilt passing grade, huh? His passing grade at Vanderbilt, it's only on 3 attempts, so you can't take too much from that. He only completed 1 of 3 attempts, 35.1 grade. Don't take too much from that just because it's 3 attempts. That's such a tiny sample size, but still, it's not good. In 2023, where he had 72 attempts to throw the ball, he completed 39 of those 72 attempts, 54.2%. 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. But let's be real. I mean, 54.2%. We all know how rough that looked when you were watching it live. There's a reason he has a 52.5 grade. Turnover worthy plays means plays that should have been interceptions was 4. Pretty high there, right? Pretty dang high there. And big time throws are plays that are, big time, like, it should be a touchdown or should be a 20+ yarder. I'll pull up the key, give you guys a pass with excellent ball location and timing, generally thrown further down the field and or in a tight window. So in 2023, he only had 1 big time throw and 4 turnover worthy plays. So pretty rough line there. And then 1 big play for 16 yards. I remember that in 2022. You're so excited, like, Nate Johnson could be the future. But this is who we're getting, guys. A guy that has a pass with Utah, checkered pass, not a checkered pass in like anything's wrong with him. From everything I understand, Nate Johnson's like super, go get it guy, super determined, not letting anything get in his way. Just a pass where it did. We thought he was the future of the program. I remember how excited I was when he committed to Utah. Huge prospect, big time get, and everyone thought he was the future of the program. Right? Did not work out that way. But I think this new horizon, the opportunity that he has under this style of offense, there's not many P4 teams in the country he could go to that are a better fit. I don't want to get into all that. I'll talk about it in the final thoughts. Sorry, guys. Okay, in a second here, I'm going to give my final thoughts on Nate Johnson coming back to Utah. Okay, guys, final thoughts on Nate Johnson coming back to Utah. Before I give you guys my final thoughts, though, make sure you smash that like button. That's going to help get the video out to more Utah fans. But also comment down below. What are you guys thinking of Nate Johnson? We just broke down a lot of data there. I want to know where your head's at. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Put out tons of content and hit that notification bell so you get updates. Here's my final thoughts. Nate Johnson is a very talented runner of the football and a very high-end athlete. Like top of college football level athlete. He is very special, and there is a reason he was a 4-star prospect as a quarterback with only 1 year of playing quarterback, right? He maybe 2 years, something like that. It was literally he got switched over from wide receiver to quarterback. And he is a superstar athlete, guys. And he is coming into an offense that thrives in taking really athletic quarterbacks and letting them use that talent to make plays. And I was hinting at it earlier. I can't think of many Power 4 teams. I mean, we're talking about a very small group of teams that would be a better fit for Nate Johnson's skill set than the new Jason Beck-led Utah offense. I mean, it is run, take your shots down the field. And what else does Nate Johnson do better, right? And I love Nate Johnson's attitude with him coming back, where he's willing to get out there and play out wide. He's willing to be, find a way to get the ball in his hands and get creative. And I love that attitude from Nate Johnson, right? We were, me and the Utes and the guys, I used to have some guys do a lot of content contributing for the channel. Great guys, San Antonio Ute, Big 12 Pilgrim, so bunch of guys, right? Wild Ute did a lot too. A bunch of people. I don't want to go over every name, but a bunch of guys did a lot for the channel. And I remember sitting around at the peak of the Nate Johnson problems, right? Where you were just really not sold on him being a quarterback because you just saw it, right? Kind of like the Isaac Wilson thing last year, where you're just not seeing it. A little different, right? But you get what I mean. And I remember us talking like, damn it, dude, if he would just be willing to play a different position, how special that would be. And I think that's why I'm so excited right now is, one, I think if he does need to play quarterback, if there's an offense that can capitalize on his skill set, it is this offense. And two, if he's willing to come in with that attitude where he just wants to see the field and figure it out, he's coming back to a place. Let's be real. This is Nate Johnson's college football home, right? This is his place. He's going to come back. He's been here a couple of years already. He knows the landscape. He's going to feel comfortable. He knows the locker room. He knows his way around campus. Should be pretty plug and play in that sense, right? And then he's got a ton of time to learn, right? He's going to be learning under a guy that's thrived in this offense with Devin Dampier. I think Nate Johnson is going to be a great guy to fight for that QB2 position and be the backup possibly if Devin Dampier was to go down, right? And I love it. And you think about this room right now, guys. We brought in a guy like Creed Whittemore, who played at a very high level quarterback at a high school, right? It was very, very impressive. And then we got Brandon Zerbrick, very athletic quarterback as well. We got like a bunch of athletic guys, but more specifically, Creed Whittemore and Nate Johnson are two guys that are such good gadget utility guys that can throw the ball as well. And it's like you get creative, you find. I'm so excited to see this offense, and I'll kind of end on this, guys. This feels like it will be a very fun offense to watch. I cannot imagine that this Jason Beck offense is going to look anything like the dull, clunky crap we have seen for a couple years now, right? Not going to throw anyone under the bus, but you all know whose offense I'm referring to. So excited for Nate Johnson to be back. Nate, glad to have you back, man. Awesome, man. Great stuff. And I love the attitude you're coming back with. Guys, if you haven't already, smash the like button, comment down below. What are your thoughts? What are we thinking? I want to know. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I am out of here. Hit the notification bell. Go Utes. Nate Johnson, baby.